Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today we're going to review Unidex and run it through my model. For those who are unfamiliar on how my channel works, what I do is I do research, I put it into a model. That model has an output. I evaluate the output over time, the result. I reflect and modify and attempt to modify the model to have more accurate outputs to more reflect reality. That's the basics of how this channel works. And the project that I'm going to run through the model in this video is Unidex. This is the model. So what problem? So basically, I give a rundown of these projects, run it through the model, and try to attempt to see if it'll be a good ROI. So what problem market does this project currently solve or serve? It is a DeFi aggregator. It wants to bring together all the different DeFi services into one easy location, not only in the terms of liquidity. So that's like more liquidity depth. If you don't know what that is, I highly suggest you research it. But what that is roughly the order books. It wants to bring all these decentralized order books on all these different chains together, aggregate them together, so that you get the best price for your swaps. It also wants to do derivatives, leverage, routing for the most effective price action across different chains. They have something called a Merari liquidity engine, deepest liquidity, derivative aggregation, etc., etc. So yeah, it's just bringing all together all these services, as well as trading services, as well as, it is it's basically a hub for you to jump into DeFi, decentralized exchanges, etc., and all like without being tied to any particular ecosystem. And they also are, working on open APIs so that you could plug in your services to their application and access that liquidity. So that is a basic idea of what UNIDX is attempting to do, offering leverage services, trading services, etc. So it's a service provider. So let's run it through the model and see what I expect. So I think that there will be a future increase in demand for the token. I think that there is a good chance that there's price fear of missing out. You would be early with the social media component of this, which is good. You want to be early social media. Regarding the roadmap, this is a 2-year timeline. This represents 12 months from this point. They have made a simpler user experience, and they've also have leverage on Phantom, which has become live. But they will offer up limit orders on version 3 of Uniswap pretty soon. They have version 2. So this is actually pretty unique service that Unidex offers, that they offer limit orders on decentralized exchanges rather than having to just immediately put your order in. Your order will go through based on a price that you set. And they, some of the things that they're going to bring in the future are new liquidity exchanges, new derivative products, and get their token listed on some centralized exchanges for more exposure of the token. So I put that's not the most exciting timeline. I would like to see a more inspirational timeline, like their user experience, their UI. I would like it to be a little better. So that's why I'm a little neutral towards the roadmap. I would like this thing to look clean and professional, and to look something like a polished product. And that would be something that would look good on the roadmap, as well as some way to some partnership or some objective to bring in a lot of users, which would greatly increase the probability the token will perform. Money needed for price up to decrease. Tokens on sell side to decrease. I think these are all things that are possible, that are green. So the model predicts good. Low inflation. These are irrelevant. The token distribution is irrelevant because it has a dividend type token economic model, which means it will float to P/E. It will be related to price earnings. Whatever earnings it gets, the token will be tied to that. So let me go over the token models so that I can describe that. So basically, the services provided, whatever services they offer, either leverage, trading services, etc., they have some kind of cost associated with that. and the costs, 50% of that cost goes to token holders as a dividend. So that is, and there's no staking needed. So this thing pays a dividend. I think it's on a daily basis for the services provided. So that means that the token, it doesn't matter if the team owns 99% of the token. Anyone could buy the token and they're going to be accessing those dividends. So that is like true ownership. And so it doesn't matter the token distribution. Now, the token is governance for votes on decisions. So the token, they have a community board where they vote on issues and only token holders are represented. So I would say the token is pretty well represented. I'd say the token model is pretty good because it's access to those dividends. If those things were ever to come away, then it would lose those properties. Fees that burn tokens. It had that in the past. It does not have it now, so I put it as neutral. It could possibly bring it back in the future if they decide to do stuff. I don't know why they got rid of it. I didn't find an answer for that, but they did get rid of their fee burning mechanism. And for now, they have a model where they just get paid 50% dividend. As far as price action, it has been sideways for since January 21. And the general crypto market has performed a 2.45x since January 21, so it is underperformed. It has experienced no hype. It has underperformed the average crypto, and it has experienced no hype. In my opinion, this is actually kind of bullish because this project means you're not buying in the hype. That's when you want to enter a project. If it has a future, this is when you would want to buy it, when it's being relatively ignored and it has low volume. But you're betting that they will be successful in the future. So at least we know that this thing is not experiencing one of those crazy hypes. You're not getting in here. You would be getting in here before it was to take off. That is when you want to buy something if you think this will be successful. As far as low market cap, it is an extremely low market cap, circulating 3 million, diluted 4 million. It is extremely low market cap. That is a very bullish thing. It's very small. And it's actually strange to me that it is so small because it is paying out roughly a 20% dividend right now, according to followers on Telegram, if that's true. I have not tested that myself, but that is a pretty good dividend, and maybe they can grow. So that is interesting that it is such a low market cap. Exponential growth. It is in beta, so it's hard to tell on this. There are very few holders, very few participants yet. They have about 8 million in daily volume. I got that number from their website. Based on their calculator and based on what the Telegram group was saying. If what those people were saying is true, then they're doing roughly 8 million. If it's paying out, 80 cents per 1,000 tokens. So that's what they were saying. And that was based on their calculator that they had on the website. I was use that to extrapolate. They have Phantom leverage, Boba network leverage. Boba is a optimism scaling solution on top of Ethereum. Phantom is its own blockchain ecosystem, and it has those two leverage opportunities for people who want to do that. They have trading for 1 year. The token has been trading for 1 year, 4 months. So, it's had about a year and 4 months to make its UX better. Its UX did look a lot worse in its early days, from what I saw. But now the UX is a little better, but I think it could even pose to get even better and look more polished and hopefully get some more users. And that could potentially lead to it doing well. However, I did put that it does have a live niche, and that is a good thing. Now, regarding the degree of decentralization, I put that it is medium because the token pays a dividend, but because the community votes on what to do with the platform. Now, that is not hard-coded in, and that is not, like, the team still is in control of this, in a sense. If all the team was to suddenly leave and dump their tokens, it would be destroyed. But, if the somehow the tokens get distributed and that the token model is tied via code, like you can't if they were to dump it, someone else could pick it up and it would still run and be alive. Like if it was running on its own blockchain, etc., that would mean that it would be decentralized. However, this this project is medium in that sense. But it sits on top of, like Ethereum, Phantom, etc. It's basically an application that sits on top of those things. So it's extremely important that those who bought and are represented. I put that as neutral. Okay, so the vision is trading service and software, DeFi hub, trading tools. So that's basically what it is. So I put that as the vision. Requires trust. So it does require somewhat of trust because the team is still the ones building out this service provided. It is extremely important that CEO and the team are high quality, 100% trust in team. So I put like these are all neutral things for the team because they going to the part of the model that reflects the team members. I put them relatively neutral because there's no major home runs in their history, but they do have a live product and they've improved that product over time. So hopefully they could continue to make a run with that, start getting a stride, and get this thing to look really polished, professional, and get some more volume. So the team is, I just put neutral because they don't have any like billion-dollar startups. They don't have any million customers in their past, etc. I have a pretty high criteria for that. High quality actions, all these things I put neutral because you have to expect that the team will be exceptional with these things. Mechanism of quality, those who are qualified to make. So the team is largely in control of this still. So I did put these things as pro because the what keeps the thing focused on quality and the technical abilities of this is the fact that the team is relatively in control of this through the token, which is good. And that means they have an apathy solution because the team is still relatively in control. So there's all good things. And this doesn't matter for this evaluation. So all in all, pretty neutral on the team. And we should see if they, if they make a home run to this project, then those team members would become all-stars. You have to start somewhere. To become an all-star, you have to start from nothing. So maybe this team is that, or maybe not. Who knows? But they don't have that record that shows that they've done it before. So this would be their first time doing it if they did. As far as like being something that has its own moat or flywheel or head-to-head competition, it is going to have lots of competition. It needs momentum. But and I do think that if this gets momentum, it could have a feedback loop, which could be good for it. But it's got to get some momentum on that. Best option of competition. There are a lot of competition in the space starting to spring up with those kind of DeFi hub services. We are talking about interoperability, and that is probably a big wave for the next bull run in crypto. There's a lot of ecosystems, a lot of exchanges that want to be the aggregators, DEX aggregators. I've seen that narrative appear all over the place. They're going to have a lot of competition. Regarding developer experience, there's already applications that have released on it, like bots on their API, etc. So I know that the API services are probably pretty good because of that. Developer motivation, high value upgrades, all these things are pretty good because their token just runs like a business and it generates revenue. So it could hire employees. It could run like a regular business. So it could hire, developers, or it could be hired if it starts getting momentum, etc. So all those things could look good. Service provided to increase. I think that is the case. Regarding business model, I don't think that it's a good model for attracting businesses to hold a token unless they're doing it on an investment basis. It's not like their services, you need to hold the token for their API services, or they're selling some API access or liquidity access or something like that based on their token model. Their token model is just good as an investment if they are capable of, it's just like a traditional company. So I don't think businesses would hold it beyond investments, but there could be big businesses that would come in and hold token as an investment vehicle. But I don't see it as like being something like where they have to stake it to run nodes, etc. Major on board, so I put these as neutral. One thing I do have to check, I will put this in the description of the video that I forgot to research, is how this software is running, whether it runs on its own blockchain or if the software end of this is going to, whether the software runs on centralized servers. That could be, that could make this more centralized, or just keep it as medium because people do vote on the future of this, even if it is hosted on centralized services. So I'll have to look to see how the application itself is hosted, even though it is on Phantom and Ethereum. Maybe it's existing in smart contracts on both of those applications. I'll have to do a little bit more research into that after this video. But this is the token angle. This is the this is the token price performance angle of the model. But that's one thing I might want to look into and put into the description at the bottom. That because I'm realizing right now that I'm not sure how the software is going to run. If it's going to, I see that it runs on Phantom, I see that it runs on Ethereum, and I'm wondering how that software will connect if it's on a centralized server, because I want to know if that attack vector exists. So I'll write that in the comment below. As far as the first mover and a network effect, I put these things as neutral as of right now because it is so early in its. It is within the first year. I want to see those things take off. Now it is extremely low priced, and the amount of people in the system, it is undervalued in that sense. Okay, and so finally, the last metric here is value of target market is large. Well, it's going to be very competitive for these DEX aggregator service provided. I do think that there's going to be plenty of room in that market, so it's not like they're standing too much shoulder to shoulder. I'm wondering. It's kind of difficult to assess what the DEX aggregation or the trading services revenue market will look like, or how big that market opportunity could be. I think it's difficult to come up with numbers on that, and it is going to be very competitive because a lot of people get into crypto through trading. What kind of revenues can we expect to see there, and what kind of total size of the market, how much growth, etc. So it's difficult to assess. I just put in neutral. But, if you use your imagination, there could be a big opportunity. Okay, so that is the running through the model. I do give exclusive content to the patrons of what my decisions are, but I will run through the final summary. Is it a low market cap with accomplished CEO? I put no. Early to social media, I put yes, and it does have a live niche. The pros and cons: if the product improves, maybe a big win. It could be highly lucrative if they're capable of attracting users, getting a lot of volume, and getting those dividends to move up. 50% of income to token holders. Once again, the token is well tied to the success of the platform. So if it does well, token holders will be happy. Cross-chain means that it is not dependent on any individual system, even though it is mostly on Ethereum right now. It is on Uniswap version 2 right now, and it is on that Phantom and Boba networks. But I would like, and I did see a lot of options on the click down menu for connecting to a lot of Ethereum virtual machines. So that is good that it is that cross chain because it's less dependent on any particular individual system. And it is an extremely low market cap. We're talking about 3 million, 4 million. That is very good. These are very good pros. Cons: products have low budget feel. It is a beta and it has that low budget feel to it still. Doesn't look very polished or professional, but it is not hideous. But it doesn't, I wouldn't be seeking this out if I was a professional trader. But I might if I want to put limit orders, because that is kind of exclusivity, limit orders to DEXs. But I think there are some other people who provide that. It does have that low budget feel. That's just a general con. But I think that could improve if they get some good software releases in the future. The roadmap is not very inspiring, is another con. I didn't see any super innovating ideas or ways or methods to capture market share. And team has no home runs in their history. So these are the cons. But remember, this is a 3 to 4 million market cap. If it goes to 30 or 40 million market cap, that's a 10x, and that might not be difficult to do. But we'll see how that goes. All right, guys, that is the model. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe, and I will go through the Patreon exclusive stuff next.